I want to swiftly move on to our second panel, where we will have now key insights directly from African Diaspora Entrepreneurs. And in this regard, we look specifically at the entrepreneurs as transnational stakeholders in African development. In this panel, we'll be speaking to Richard Dickens Agbenyo, who is CEO and co-founder of the Vandiduchis Farms Ghana, Lina de Monk, founder of Soul Food Mama, the co-founder of Origine et Saveurs. We'll also be speaking to Musa Faye, who is the CEO of Musa's Bisac, or Sorrel, as some of you may be familiar with it, and Suzanne Awung, CEO of Suzy Farms Cameroon and facilitator for sustainable agricultural trainings for rural farmers. And lastly, Mr. Andrew Bamugi, founder and managing director of Destiny Farms Limited. I now invite Mr. Richard Dickens to present on his work.
Good morning from Ghana, Koforidua to be specific. I'm currently in Ghana, so if I have a network issue, bear with me. So I represent Vandiduchis Farm Limited, and before I continue with the background information, why that company, my name is Richard Dickens, an agripreneur. I'm previously a former banker in the Netherlands. That is my background. Before anything, I have observed that where there is hunger, conflict is inevitable. The food system of tomorrow start with the unique ideas of today's rural youth. That is the main goal of our company, to involve the youth, shape the mindset of the youth, and also stimulate their minds and make them aware that agriculture can be an income-generating venture. Close to 15 years plus in Europe, came up with this idea from the Vandiduchis Farm Limited, together with a good friend, Albert Dodo, who is also on the panel this morning. The entire dream is to give back to society, help shape mindset of the youth, and also live close to nature as much as possible. So my actual journey began when I met this passionate youth online who is into farming, because I was actually tired of the 9-to-5 job system, and I needed a change. So I was looking at possibilities, different business ventures of how I can give back to society, or how I can reintegrate myself into the Ghanaian economy. So when I saw this farmer online, we started networking and engaging in communication, which actually gave me the idea that I can actually do farming. To cut a short story, to cut a long story short, I traveled back to Ghana and I met him. So we sat down and we had discussions, and it's actually, we had a mutual understanding which can benefit both of us. So we decided to actually do a pilot project, which is in maize farming and also chili pepper. I invested in both ways. We ensured that the journey we are embarking on will become a success. And lo and behold, it was also a success. It didn't really yield much, but it was, I was part of the process, which made me happy. I learned, and I'm still learning on this journey at the moment. So the name of that company is a label company limited, who is the company I partnered with to reintegrate myself into the society. Lo and behold, in 2019 to 2020, IOM, which IOM also partnered with ZD Cycle, which is also a company based in the Netherlands, to reintegrate Ghanaians and Ethiopians who have lived more than 10 years in Europe and would like to give back to society or set up businesses or have already existing businesses in their respective country. So I was part of the contestant. I sent my proposal for rice farming and a rice processing factory. And then I was part of the first, the 10 winners, which represented Ghana. But then COVID also set in 2020, and the whole entire plan became something else. So the much needed funds that we had to receive to continue the project was abolished. Fast forward to 2021, based on my knowledge and my involvement on the ground, I have actually come up with the idea of animal farming, which is something I can passionately do here in Ghana with less risk, because in terms of crops production, the weather condition is also not favorable. So if you are putting your money into something, you have to ensure that you are not going to lose your money, and you can gain profit from it. So looking at the risk involvement and what I can do here in Ghana, I decided to do poultry farming, which is egg production. So I'm currently here in Ghana to engage myself and the youth with this venture. We are in phase 1. We have purchased the land, and we're going to go to phase 2, which is to set up the structure, and then we build on. There are so many challenges that we are facing here in Ghana, or as a diasporan. If you are moving back to Ghana to establish a company, there are so many factors. The major factor, which is access to finance, which is for everybody. But then the second one is also trust between employers and employees, to find trusted people whilst you are away, who can actually manage your company the way you are passionate about it, which is also a major thing to consider. And then studying the market, which of the marketing structures you can adopt to ensure that you actually make profit from your business. And then security issue, which is also the last part. So these are the above mentioned are the challenges that we are facing here in Ghana, but I always say that I don't see problems, I see challenges, and with challenges you can overcome if you're passionate about what you're doing. I will encourage most of the diasporans who are on this platform and listening to me to not to limit themselves to only remittances to family, but also be engaging in the community development, rural development, by establishing small, medium-scale ventures in the food system. Because I say that food is the next goal. Everybody eats. COVID or no COVID, everybody eats. So food is a gainable venture that you can actually venture without losing anything. So I urge all the aspirants on this platform to make a move without any fear. Van der Dutchess Farms believes that the food system of the future should be fair in terms of competition, distribution, and resilience, must support health, and producers receive a fair share of their food dollar whilst advancing in equity and distributing to national climate goals. Hunger is on the decline thanks to the aggressive action by some of us, but we must all do more to improve a partnership that can power our generation. One of the things I forgot is if you are also looking at going to your respective country to invest, you must first of all find collaboration or partner with someone. Look into the market and see who is doing what, and where you can actually partner with any of the organization or institution for you to learn the basics. Make sure that you know what you are going into so that you don't get overwhelmed by surprises. So it is a key point that I will urge all the aspirants to take note of. I'll end my speech by giving a quote, which is coming together is the start, staying together is progress, and then building together is the future. So let us all come together to build Africa, because Africa needs us. After being away for so many years, you have learned a lot, your mindset has changed, so you can actually influence one or two people, and change can happen by just one person. This is my contribution for today. I will thank Maureen for fishing me out and making me part of this program. And I have also learned a lot from the previous speakers who have also given much insightful information on the food system or agro-food system for tomorrow development. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Richard. And indeed, I also look forward to all the possibilities of building together between the institutions and the partners and all the participants in this project. You talked specifically about the importance of food, even through a global pandemic like COVID. And I regret that whilst I lived at Brussels, I did not know about Lena's initiatives of the underground food gathering. So I'm very excited to hear more about the work you're doing, Lena, and about the Soul Food Mama.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lena then. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Maureen, for always having me and giving me this opportunity to speak a little bit more about all these agri-food opportunities and issues as well as we can share. Sorry, someone is talking. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Lena.
Yes, sorry, I heard someone was talking at the same time. So yes, thank you all for the opportunity, because I think we can brainstorm all together about the issues and find some solutions together, because I saw some questions and I would like to give more details and information about it. So first of all, I didn't know I'll be in the agro-food business one day, because I'm graduated in tourism and event management, but always been passionate about cooking. I think it's in my whole family. I'm from East Africa. I'm mixed East African and Indian. So maybe that's why we love cooking. I'm based in Belgium. But right now, currently, I'm in Mombasa. So if you hear the birds and stuff, I'm in Mombasa, Kenya. So yeah, I started with those underground dinners. Yes, as you said, this is how I started. I was mixing both with my studies and all my passions. But at the end, I finally decided to be in the agro-food business with this adventure, which I called Soul Food Mama. This is my label, my brand. So sorry, I didn't prepare anything, because even this travel in Mombasa wasn't prepared. So I have those products. It's hot pepper sauces. This idea came from the need, my own need. I needed some hot pepper sauce, and I saw in Brussels we don't have a lot of competition with hot pepper sauces, so I decided maybe to create one. And I didn't know it would be a kind of tricky adventure, because something I heard a lot from you all is information. To get information sometimes is a little bit complicated, especially when you started from scratch. So when I started from scratch, I realized that I cannot just cook my hot sauce and sell it. There is regulation. I need to make a right label to collect all the information. So that was a tricky part of the adventure. And so now we have a lot of consumers in Belgium, Holland, UK, etc., Germany and France especially. And the most important part I would like to share with you guys today is the fact that this adventure was really rich for me. But now I would like to go to another level. I didn't come here in Mombasa, Kenya, just like this. Everything happened for a reason. And since I'm traveling in Africa, I've been in Senegal, I've been in Zambia, Tanzania, where my roots are, Zanzibar, and now Kenya. I realized something, that we have a good human potential. There is nothing to say about that. We have lands and a good potential of weather for a lot of fruits and vegetables. And what is missing is, yes, information, but as well, the branding. Because I saw someone posting a question about how can we improve our products and our packaging. I think there is a lack of, sorry for my English, because basically I'm a French speaker, but about education around packaging, marketing, labels, and all this regulation around labels. I saw another question. It was, how can the diaspora can help to sell our products from Africa? As well, I think there is a need of regulation of the label, the packaging, and the marketing as well. I think this is something that is needed. Especially, I spoke with some people in Senegal, and they always say the same. They always give the same feedback. Oh, okay, I can speak in French, but I will continue. Then I will see if I switch in French or not. So even for my adventure, it was the same as well for the raw material. When you are in Europe, there is a lack of communication and information because, yeah, I'll switch in French. Donc oui, c'est un petit peu compliqué de recevoir l'information quant aux producteurs également, donc les producteurs qui se trouvent en Afrique. Donc on a tendance à acheter ici en gros. On a tendance à acheter ici en gros, mais en fait, on n'a pas accès à l'information du fait qu'on peut contribuer et aider des producteurs locaux en Afrique pour des produits finalement où il n'y a pas de concurrence ici. Donc, si j'achète du piment, voilà, pour mon cas, je fabrique des sauces piquantes. Si j'achète du piment au Ghana ou au Sénégal, eh bien, effectivement, ce n'est pas de la, comment dire, ce n'est pas mettre en avant le producteur ghanéen au détriment de la production locale belge, puisqu'il n'y a pas de production de piment, on va dire, de qualité pour ce que je recherche en Belgique. Donc, ça reste quand même intéressant pour nous de savoir qu'il y a tous ces producteurs et comment les mettre en contact avec, avec la demande. Donc ça, c'est vraiment la question que je me posais. Pourquoi je me posais toutes ces questions-là? Parce qu'évidemment, je vous ai dit que j'ai voyagé dans plusieurs pays. Ce n'est pas pour rien, ce n'est pas juste pour les vacances, parce que justement, j'essayais d'analyser les possibilités d'expansion de ma propre marque. Parce que je me suis dit, je crée un produit que les Africains aiment à base de produits africains. Je me suis dit, dans quelle mesure je peux, comme disait justement notre ami précédemment, dans quelle mesure je peux contribuer également sur le continent? Est-ce que ce ne serait pas également avantageux de proposer ma recette sur le continent et de pouvoir en bénéficier la population locale pour les consommateurs de piment pour mon cas, et également proposer peut-être du travail, créer du travail. Et donc, c'est pour ces raisons-là que je me trouve en Afrique actuellement. C'est également pour de la prospection, de voir dans quelle mesure je peux lancer une ligne de production ici. Et finalement, je réalise aussi qu'en fait, il y a de la demande pour beaucoup plus que du piment ou d'autres choses. Il y a des productions durables maintenant. J'ai été approché par un monsieur hongrois qui souhaiterait me rencontrer. Il vient au Kenya bientôt. En fait, lui, il a une idée, c'est de développer des champignons, oyster mushrooms, donc une spécifique, donc j'essaie de mélanger anglais et français, donc tout se mélange, a specific type of mushrooms qui apparemment, il peut développer de la farine avec, il y a beaucoup de protéines qui peuvent être remplacées pour les nouvelles personnes qui consomment, on va dire, vegan et qui aimeraient avoir un autre type de protéines. Donc voilà, lui-même a réalisé qu'il y avait pas mal de potentiel, mais ce qui le bloque jusqu'aujourd'hui, c'est l'accès à l'information. Et comme j'ai beaucoup voyagé dans tous ces pays que je vous ai cités, j'ai pu créer des petits réseaux où j'ai pu collecter de l'information pour lui, mais encore une fois, dans quelle mesure pouvons-nous améliorer la communication et l'accès à l'information? Avec un autre ami, puisque je suis autodidacte dans plusieurs domaines, avec un ami, nous sommes en train de mettre en place, je ne vous en dirai pas plus, mais nous sommes en train de mettre en place une plateforme d'application web qui mettrait en rapport la diaspora, donc la connexion nord-sud. Déjà, c'est très important parce qu'il y a vraiment une connexion qui doit être faite entre la diaspora au nord ou dans d'autres pays du monde et le continent africain. Ça, c'est une première chose. Et qui mettrait en lien également du B2B, en fait. Donc, un producteur avec quelqu'un qui voudrait transformer ou un producteur qui transforme avec quelqu'un qui voudrait revendre. Donc, l'aventure que j'ai pu avoir dans l'épicerie, dans le monde de l'épicerie fine, je tenais une boutique d'épicerie fine avec une collaboratrice, m'a fait réaliser à quelle mesure, m'a fait réaliser dans quelle mesure il y avait une demande de produits de qualité africains et bruts. Donc, pas des produits transformés, pas une crème à base de karité transformée, mais il y a une demande pour du karité. Et encore une fois, le problème qui revient, donc c'est vraiment les trois sujets que j'aimerais mettre en avant aujourd'hui, c'est le problème de packaging, de communication et de marketing, sachant que le marketing, le packaging et le branding sont importants. Donc, c'est pour cela que également, récemment, j'ai mis en place, j'ai commencé à proposer des coachings en branding. Je ne suis pas une experte en branding, mais étant donné que je suis autodidacte et que j'ai pu mettre en place un branding pour moi-même et pour d'autres personnes, je pense qu'il est important de pouvoir proposer des bases. Donc voilà, si vous connaissez des personnes qui sont désireuses de s'unir afin de propager de la formation en Afrique de façon générale, francophone ou anglophone, de formation en branding, je pense que c'est quelque chose qui est en demande. Là, il y a pas mal de demandes au Sénégal, par exemple, où je compte y rendre très prochainement. Donc, voilà, je ne sais pas si vous avez trouvé cela pertinent, mais je pense qu'on peut continuer à discuter ensemble de ces sujets-là, en fait. Accès à l'information, packaging, branding. Voilà, je pense que j'ai écoulé mon temps.
Thank you so much, Lena. I love your practicism, and it's so important to just go out there and get what you want for yourself and believe in your products and what you're putting forward. So I'm very proud of you, and I can't wait to try your pepper sauce.
Thank you.
And next we have Musa Faye, who is the founder of Musa's Bisa, and I will let Musa share his very beautiful story of how he became the CEO of his own company.
Yes. Hi. Hello. Okay, let me see. Yes. I hope you hear me. So I don't hear you actually. Yes. So my name is Musa. As you can know, I'm a founder of Musa's Bisa, and it is something that I wasn't made to do, in my understanding, because let me see. Okay.
We can hear you, Musa. Please.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I was trained as a software engineer, so I wasn't made for these things, making drinks and all these things. And how it happened is when I arrived here in Belgium, when I was coming, it was like 20 years ago. I have bought some bags of hibiscus. In Senegal, in our tradition is to bring something always when you come somewhere. And what have happened is I left it like many years, didn't touch it. And one day it came to be that we are working on a project, artistic project, me and my wife. And she asked me, okay, can you make this flower drink you made in your country? So I made it, make few bottles of it. And then the opening, everybody was there. There were a lot of other drinks there, but suddenly everything finished. And everybody was walking around with the empty glasses. Okay, yeah, what is this drink? Yeah, it's nice. And I was told, okay, this thing is nice. A friend of mine was from have a coffee in a restaurant, told me. She took one bottle and brought it to her restaurant and make everybody taste. In that moment, I was busy studying and doing my stuff with computers. And she asked me, okay, Musa, the stuff is nice. Can you make some bottles for me? I make few and few and few. And the demand started to come and come and come and come again. And other coffees and restaurants were asking also the same. So I started to shift having both things, computers and drinks. So I didn't know much. The only thing I had is my brother have been busy with the hibiscus already 15 years, but more in the medical side. So I turned to my brother, I said, okay, this is coming on my plate. What can I learn from you? And my brother shared everything he know. And I went back to Senegal also to do some documentation. And then I started. But the thing is now here with Musa's Bishop, as you can know, hibiscus is called by many names. It's a drink which can drink. It's quite African and all around the world is consumed as a flower in many ways. What we have done the last years in Belgium is already 7 years ago. I have started. So we decided to make this drink, and for we can say the European consumer. The thing is, the idea was to go in Africa, take the flowers, bring them here. Here we have the production and bring it to and distribute to the place. But there's several things. Is European, as much as they can know about hibiscus, they don't know really what it is. So the idea is to, when we came in Senegal, the problem was there's a problem with the place. Farmers have ground, but they don't have money to invest to give us the right flowers we need. What we do is just, okay, we decided to invest there, so we give them money to start up. And when they start up, in some moment in the middle of the year, we come, and after when they finish, we buy everything with the fair price, and bring it here. Here we make the production, we have to distribute it. But the main challenge would be everywhere. In Africa was a challenge for us because everything must have been done right. Here in Europe, being a young entrepreneur African, bringing a product which is totally unknown to them, it's quite difficult for the European to say, okay, because there's the type of stereotype that African people have to European have to African. So the look was very different. But the point for us was we have something good, it's unique. And I felt that we came on the right time. Why? Because now everything is about healthy food, natural, organic, special, authentic. And we get all these things. You can see now in the world, now in Europe, what's happening is everybody try itself to, and all the companies are rebranding their product. The same orange juice which you were drinking many years is getting drink again. They turn it to bio, they turn it to organic, they turn it to calorie, the same thing. And while in Africa, we have so much to give and so far better. And the drinks are really worked out to give what they must give without sugar replacement. But we didn't need that. We have everything the world needs. But the question is, how do we get it here? So I know this was an advantage for us. And the disadvantage is when you are a young African, and in Europe, the big companies, they and the coffees and restaurants, they like a stable thing, a company they know, a name they know, a drink they know. They like this thing. So how are you going to convince them? Tell them, okay, hey, I am just young boy. I have something for you. Would you try it? It's very difficult. Not just that, because they don't know about it. So there was this challenge here. And the strategy was, we focus on the most important and the most coffees and restaurants which have impact in the city of Antwerp. We start at the top. So we convinced them by, it was really basically our drink wasn't looking like that. And since those people start to take our drink and drink it, and the idea of, okay, it's nice, everybody find it cute in the beginning. Oh, it's cute, it's a young boy making the stuff. So they put a lot of energy in it and say, okay, oh yeah, you come at a bar for my friend, because my wife works in a bar, and when you come to say, okay, I want to do something, she tell you, why don't you try something fresh, something good, natural? Okay, I'm going to try it. And they try it and they like it. And so on we go. We realize, okay, because in Europe, you need a reference. You need to say, I am working with this one, for them to trust you. Okay, if this one is doing it, so okay, I can try it. So we use the reference of those top bars and restaurants to convince the other ones. So on we go, but we realize it's not enough. Because as an African, we have to be aware of what we carry on our shoulder. I realize that I am not representing just myself. I represent whole continent. And every move I make must be really checked, polished, and attention, because I am well watched, very well watched. Every move I make, they watch, because they want to work with you. They like your product, but still they are a bit afraid, because many experience and a stereotype which have been, and this have to be always killed one by one. Every time you gotta meet the demand, labeling, delivery time, the look, the marketing, everything must be fitted the way they want. But you add an African style in it. Is the way you're relaxed, the way you sell your, the authenticity of your product. Our product is, I tell them most of the time, it is a product, no one will drink it and forget about it. It doesn't exist. Last time we did a festival of swings, and I talked with a guy from the organizer, he's a friend of mine, and I told him, how come you many years Sphinx is all about world, and African singers are present here, and there's no African food here. There's nothing African. He will say, yeah, we tried, but it didn't work, because really hard. They don't meet the demand. They don't respond on time. Things just difficult. So when I worked with him, and I clearly explained him, we stand, me and him together, we did all the bars where our drinks were. Everybody who drink our drink came to him, tell him, look, this is a great drink. And in that case, the moment that we realize, okay, we have the good product, we have what we want to say, we have made the challenge. Now what we have to do, we have to grow up. We cannot stay at the same point. So we have to grow up to the big supermarkets. We have to go to the wholesale supermarket, because now it's the time. The world needs new things, and Africa have it. We have so many of it. But the problem is, as many people say, the information. But the European, most of the time, they work with companies they know. I get a lot of proposals by companies who want to work with me and want me to be between them and African thing. Why? Because they know me, they trust me. What I'm going to end, while working with this group in Africa with the hibiscus flowers, a company, one of the biggest in peanut butter in Europe, came to say, okay, I need peanut butters, I need peanuts. Can you provide me that? I thought, okay, Senegal used to be a great country for peanuts, and I come there to my guy, okay, I need peanuts. What I didn't know, at my surprise, was there's no peanut leaving Senegal and coming in Europe, because as some people might know, it's a problem with aflatoxin. So it killed most of the countries in Africa who were living on the peanuts. They cannot export in Europe and America because of this problem. And I didn't know nothing about it. And I don't understand how come all these years nobody have tackled in our government to say, okay, let's fix that and give our people here some place to sell. And there's also another problem in that by taking the raw products like a peanut packet in a big bag, send it in Europe, Africa doesn't earn anything from it. Most of the process must be done there. And we have to impose every company, our government themselves, that buying a big bag of peanut of 50 kilo, there's nothing for Africa. 50% of the thing must be done in Africa. And it's possible. But for me, it's very difficult to be here and to be there. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of money. And that's something I cannot really do not to take too much time. It's just what I want to say indeed. But we are a very successful company here. It's a pity to say I don't have Africans are not really my clients. I work with many countries, France, Holland, Belgium supermarket, but most of the time we are on bio supermarkets and quite high trendy. Our product is quite expensive. Well, I think Africans say it's too expensive. That could be a problem with us, but we are doing our best to see what are the possibilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Musa. It's so inspiring to hear all of your discussions and how complementary to your academic and educational background, you have all followed your passion for food. And next, I'm very excited to hear from Suzanne Awung. And Suzanne, I have heard you speak at different forums over the year, and I always enjoy to hear what you have to say. The floor is yours. If you can just unmute your microphone in the bottom left hand of the screen. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm very happy to be here today to talk about Suzy Farms. I think I need to share my screen. Share. Am I there?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes. So I would say welcome to Suzy Farms. And I really like the fact that Maureen has always been pulling me along. I'm a social environmentalist by profession, and I have a passion for agriculture. And Suzy Farm is like a blend between my profession, which is environmental sciences, and my passion, which is agriculture. So in 2012, I went out as a PhD student in environment to do research around Mount Cameron National Park. And then we were assessing the level of local community involvement in Mount Cameron National Park conservation. And the results showed that most local communities were not wanting to engage in that conservation project because of food insecurity. Poverty was another cause, and they were seizing land for them to put it as part of the park. So we now decided that, but if this thing is happening, how can we do to help them? Because at the end of the day, we need to conserve the forest, but we cannot do that at the expense of human existence. So there was a challenge to provide them alternative livelihood, so that we now start thinking of how we can train them in aquaculture, we can train them in animal husbandry, so that we can provide alternative livelihood so that they can get food rather than going into the forest. So since I'm not an agriculturalist, I don't have an agricultural background, I went online, and through so much reading, I discovered that so much research has been done on agriculture, especially using traditional knowledge to improve food security. But this knowledge has not reached the local community because there was a gap between what has been researched and what is done in practice. So actually, Suzy Farm now came up. We first of all formed an NGO, which was the Forgotten Green Heroes, to bridge that gap between research and practice. So whatever thing we read, that on which research has been done, and with good experience, we needed to put it in practice within the forgotten greenhouse to see if it works. If it works, we take that information and share it to the local farmers and actually train them how to do it, so that from there they can be able to grow their own food. So our slogan as of now is research to practice and farm to table. So this was when I was actually doing the research, and you can see there was really a problem of food insecurity that we had to do with it, because our research will be useless if we cannot lead the changes recommended in our own publication. So I decided to see what I can do to resolve the challenges from my PhD research, which was food insecurity, poverty, malnutrition, land grabbing, and they could not really adapt to the climate change, because when drought comes, they don't even know what to do. And the importation of chicken too in Cameroon was banned in 2005. And this led them to low shortages of protein foods. And it was a very serious problem that we had to deal with. So we then formed a group of young men. We came together in Cameroon to form the Forgotten Green Heroes. We started as the Forgotten Green Heroes. And our objective was to build a resilient community in such a way that there will not be any hunger, to end hunger, to actually enhance food security within local community, to alleviate poverty, also help them how to make income for themselves, and they can sell their crops and make some money. And this will also help them to improve their livelihood, well-being, and also to pay school fees for their children. And the education of the children also was very important, because a child who is not going to school in the morning, the only thing that child does is to go into the forest. Either he's hunting, or he's cutting down one plant or the other, or foraging for food. All this was done to meet up with the Agenda 2030 of the Sustainable Development Goals, and also to meet up with the Paris Agreement and the National Adaptation Plan. So the strategies that were put on was to go into mixed crop farming. We also encourage all the farmers to start planting fruit trees into their crop farms. So we nurse the fruit trees and we give it for them for free, because at the end of it, if you go to a local farmer who is in the village and start telling him, oh, you have to buy this, if he doesn't have the money, it means some people will be left behind. And we do not want anybody to be left behind. It was free at first. And we also train them in animal husbandry and aquaculture, so that they can get enough fish to eat and enough animal protein, so they don't go hunting into the forest. So we actually train some of the farmers to be producers, consumers, distributor, and also employee into the company. So it was a very inclusive venture where all the farmers were included. So you can see these are some of the pictures we took from the training in animal husbandry. We trained them pig rearing, how to grow catfishes, because most of these villages, they have streams, they have rivers. They have been catching most of the fish and they are almost extinct. So we need to teach them on fish reproduction, how to produce fingerlings and stock their rivers, how to rear rabbits and other small animals. So we also open a nursery, as I told you, to nurse fruit. These are some of the fruit trees we nursed from my little saving, and we could actually supply them. The first stock was free, and now we are selling to them at a very cheap rate. So the training is normally a 8 weeks training, where the local farmers, they come in to Susie Farms, they are trained free of charge. Even though some people think that, oh, with this training, we don't make money. No, it's a two-way win-win situation, because they work for us within that 8 weeks, they don't get paid. And they are also trained, and we don't charge them, because if we start charging them, most of them will not like to be part of the training. So you can see me in the field, because when we give this type of training, it's not always good to just be telling people what to do, but you have to be there to do it yourself, so that when they see you doing it yourself, they can believe in you and start copying it. So every year I go to the field, I go to the farm, not only to visit, but I work like any other local farmer in the field. So we make sure that we plant fruit crops like plantains, egusi yam, because when I saw that, sometimes you would tell them to grow food in an organic way and they will tell you, oh, it does not work. So to show them that it works is for us to grow the food that they are producing in a more sustainable and organic way, so that when they see, they will believe, and when they believe, they will take action. So that's why we actually open a farm to actually grow the types of food they are growing, so that they come and see us doing it and having the result, so they too can copy. So at our farm, we do zero or minimal tillage. It is purely organic. We don't use genetically modified crops. So all our seeds that we are on the farm, all the plants, when they produce seeds, you can use the seed to plant for the next planting season. Because most of the time when you tell farmers to always buy seeds, even if you give them seed, they plant this season, if next year the maize cannot be planted again for another crop production, it will still be a problem, because most of them don't want to be buying seed all the time. So we don't use any no insecticide, no pesticide, no herbicide. We use mostly green manure or poultry manure. And we have trained them also how to do 3-sister cropping, multi-story model, which actually increase the amount of food per unit area. You know, we are teaching them about companion planting, and we use like prayer mantis, millipedes, you know, wasps as a part of the ecosystem, because all these things will help to reduce pests and control pests within the farm. So if you see the way, I've just taken an example like nematode. For nematode, we don't use any nematocide in a plantains plantation or a banana plantation, because we teach them how to treat the suckers with warm water. So these are the type of things we do. You boil the warm water, you put your suckers and put it there for 30 seconds and you plant. Then your plantains, they grow without having nematode. We also teach them how to use the tithonia leaves, because with tithonia leaves, you just slash them, you grow them, they grow widely in Africa. You slash them, dig a hole, put it there and plant your plantains, and you are free to go. No nematode will attack the plantains. Or they use neem seed oil, we teach them how to apply it. The red Acalypha leaves, we teach them how to apply it. So in their farms, we have actually given them seeds of all these plants to plant in their farms, so that if they have problem with a nematode or so, they can use this organic natural treatment to treat their crops, rather than using pesticide, herbicide, or nematicides. So now, since we have already trained some of them in animal husbandry, some of them in aquaculture, we now teach them how to integrate crop livestock system. Because crop livestock system is really the best way to go, because nothing is lost. Nothing is lost actually. Like if you have your plantain farms, or maybe the other crops that you have planted, say cassava or beans, all the forage is used to feed the animals. We teach them how to formulate feed from locally grown crops, and it still gives the same result like imported feeds. They don't need to import feed. We know how to formulate the feed, and we teach them. Much research has been done. The only thing left is to read this research, take it down to the local community, teach them how to do it, so that they don't finally get out of the value chain of food production within Africa. They are an important part of it, and their contribution really counts. So when they get all the forage, we teach them how to combine them and formulate animal feed. When they feed the animals, the waste of the animals is used also to make compost. And this compost actually enhances the organic content of the soil with a lot of nutrients, phosphorus that plants need. So this soil is now fed back into their farms, and the plants seed directly, the seed that they harvested last year, they use it to plant back, and you know, the crops grow very healthy. So in so doing, the nutrient is being recycled within the farm. So if you see on the resource management, you have the farmer is having food and cash for the food crops, and is also having food and cash from the livestock. The only thing the farmer do is to manage the livestock and to manage the food crops. But the livestock is providing manure to the food crops, and the food crops is also providing forage to the livestock as feed. So in so doing, everything is recycled. It is really low cost and it works. Presently, we have employed 14 permanent workers that are working with Susie Farm, and we have 12 contract workers. We've trained so far 685 farmers, and within 35 local communities, the communities I work with during my PhD research. And we have 56 entrepreneurs. We are talking about local entrepreneurs who we have trained, and they have also employed other people within the community. So it is like a chain. We train you, you go, you start your own small business, you train others, you employ others, and with so doing, all of us can join to halt the problem of food insecurity in Africa. So when I discovered that, I was introducing them into planting, stop using insecticide and pesticide in their cocoa and coffee farms. They were like, oh, it will not work, it will not work. So we decided to buy more land and plant cocoa, coffee, fruit trees, oil, palm cereal, all the food that they are growing. We decide to grow them because they learn from what they see. If you tell them and you are not doing it, they don't copy. So for now, we have a cocoa farm. We don't do monoculture. All we do is we buy a degraded land. We've bought already 240 hectares of degraded land. We've planted 40 hectares already. It's like a permaculture edible forest, a form of agroforestry where you don't plant only one type of crop, because it has to be multi-layer. So we can have so much money or so much crops production within a small amount of land. So within that, the agricultural area, we have introduced chicken, pigs, goats, rabbits, snails, and catfishes. Because there are a lot of rivers and a lot of streams in Africa, and we need to start making use of it to grow catfishes in a very natural way, and they are very big. So as of now, we are selling locally and we are exporting to Nigeria. Every month we export at least 40 tons of plantains per month to Nigeria and other food crops. So I've put a small demonstration of the net cash increase because we started just with 2,000 euros. And through Dr. Maureen of the Food Bridge, he linked us to OVO, who then asked us to come and pitch our inclusive business to them. When we pitched, we were selected and we were given some funds to scale up. At first it was 15,000 euros to scale up. And we are very grateful for that because after we scale up, you can see we started in 2014 as a Forgotten Green Heroes. But in 2018, we actually transformed the Forgotten Green Heroes into Susie Farm, which is now a profit-making business. But then it's still inclusive because local farmers are employed there, and they are part of the whole value chain. So the net cash increase was on an increase, and the net profit margin you can see was up to 20 in 2018 until the Corona strike, bam, in 2019. When the Corona strike, it did not only lead to some losses, but we learned a big lesson. Because during the Corona, one of the challenges we had was there was no, we were buying feed items for our animals. And then we had about 2,500 chicken, we had pigs, we had goats, and the market was closed. And when it was closed, the animals are there, they were hungry. We don't have enough to feed them. And the land was too small. So we learned a lot. And when we tried to kill some of them and put in the freezer, with Cameroon, there was blackout for 5 days. And most of the food actually got spoiled. The only thing we could do is to use some of them to feed the hungry catfishes that were there. So the lesson that we learned during this pandemic was make sure you grow your own animal feed before you scale up. That's why presently we have 240 hectares of land, and we've carried all our poultry into that farm area. So when it is bad and we know we have our food, we grow them ourselves. So we will not be waiting for Douala to supply us with food ingredients for our animals. And also another lesson was to increase your land size so that you can free range. Even though we're growing this animal with, we build the cages with local material, like bamboo cages and all this, but the land was not enough for free range. So we thought that if we could free range, we will have just opened all the animals during the corona pandemic period so that they can free range, you know, at least they will not have problems like we had. And also to have your own parent stock. You don't always have to depend on somebody to provide you chicks to be able to raise them, because once that person refuses to provide you chicks, you are out of the market. Your business can collapse because you are always depending on others. And also to have our own solar energy, which is very, very important in storage and processing of food in Africa. So the processing facilities and storage facility were not enough, and we had the problem with Corona. So now our present challenges is we need finance to scale up. We need also help in technical skill, solar energy also, so that we don't depend on government electricity. That's always not there. Value addition, how to add value to our product and sell it at a very good price so that, you know, we can actually be able to grow up. Processing and storage facilities is what we really need. We need to know how to process our food, add value to it, store it, packaging, labeling, and marketing. Presently, we are exporting to Nigeria, but we are looking at the EU market in 2023. We also need organic certification because we know to reach the EU market, we need like some EU standard to follow and to organic certification. So anybody who is listening to me, especially those of the FAO and others, call it ACP, maybe they will come in to help us in this. So at the end of the day, we see that by selling our product and sharing our knowledge to other farmers, we have joined with other farmers to actually start resolving the problem of food security in Africa, because we think that Africa can feed itself. A blend of the local and modern agro techniques plus livestock rearing can really solve the problem of food insecurity in farmers and can also help them to improve livelihood, eradicate poverty, and do a lot. So we have included local farmers as consumers, they are producers, distributors, and employees, and we've empowered the women because out of our those we have trained, we have 31 local entrepreneurs who are women now, owning their own business and employing even men to work in their own small business, maybe in aquaculture, animal husbandry, and so on. So it has also helped to provide local employment, because even the people we have trained are also employing other people and training other people. So it is a whole network in such a way that we just hope that by the end of, in 10 years time, we should have touched about 5,000 youths, you know, should be employed either directly by us or through the other local entrepreneurs. And it also helps to generate income. It has alleviated poverty, because if you go to the community, I did research before, you will see that the standard of living is very high, and children are not going to school because their parents have money to pay for school fees. We've helped to improve livelihood, health, and well-being. And the food security also is on the rise, and nutrition aspect is also being solved, because there is a common disease they call in Africa kwashiorkor. When I went there 8 years ago, most of the children have swollen stomach. But now, just seeing the children, the way they are, you know, they are eating a lot of protein, and most of these diseases are no more there. It has also helped to increase community adaptability to climate change. Because now they don't just, if drought is coming, maybe you have your fish. It may be if there is not enough water, maybe you have your animals. So they have other alternatives to live on. They don't just depend on one thing or going to the forest every day. And one good thing is that I'm very happy because the local community members are now engaging in conservation projects, because that was the original reason I went there to assess their level of involvement. It has also helped to reduce pressure on the forest, because they don't just go into the forest every day to to harvest food to eat or to kill the animals when they already have their pigs to take care of and their chicken to take care of in the house. So all this has helped us to restore ecosystem and also biodiversity. So thank you very much. And I hope that all of us hearing me today, we should actually use our passion and enthusiasm to engage in food agribusiness in Africa, touching mostly the local community. Because most of the time when multinational companies, they come to Africa, they deal with those who are well structured and they leave the people who are in the villages behind. So we need to try to pull them over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Suzanne, for that very inspiring presentation. I certainly will be drawing on your example for projects in the Caribbean region, my region of birth. So thank you so much. We now move swiftly on to Andrew, who is going to also share his work with Destiny Farms. Andrew, can you join us?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, perfect. And if, yes, that's perfect. We can hear you. Hi.
Hello, and I'm coming to you from Kampala. I'm just driven into the farm at the moment. Sorry for joining late as well because of my other employment. I still work a 9-to-5 job, but I'm also pleased to be on this forum. Thank you, Maureen and the team, for inviting me. I am Ugandan by nationality, and I was trained in accounting. I have a bachelor's in accounting. I'm a chartered accountant. And I left Uganda in 2008, the end of 2008, to join a UNDP program working in sub-Saharan Africa, supporting the private sector in the area of human capital and financial sustainability. So I've lived in South Africa, I've lived in Zambia, I've lived in Zimbabwe, and at the moment, I have moved on to a new employer called the Trade and Development Bank. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya, and my specialty at the bank is small and medium enterprise finance. But I do find a lot of time on the side to pursue my agribusiness dream. So how did I fall in love with agribusiness? When I moved to South Africa in 2008, I got to work on a couple of private sector projects across South Africa and in the region. I've practically done all of Southern Africa and East Africa. And during that time, I came to observe, particularly in Southern Africa, the capacity to do large-scale commercial farming. I zeroed down on poultry, and I fell in love with a company called Rainbow Chicken. By the time I got to know them, they used to slaughter 5 million broiler chicken a week. And that fascinated me. I really then spent a lot of time and learning and studying the value chain in poultry. And a couple of years later, I knew that this is what I was going to do in my agribusiness venture. So I started investing back home in 2012, 2013. And I was really initially beaten by the fact that it was really tough, send money, have somebody to trust, to invest in the capex. And there was a lot of learning. The real learning is in the doing. And that really took a knock on me. Later on, I partnered with my brother from an element of trust with zero skills, but with an element of trust. I took on my brother, my elder brother, who has worked with me since then. And we've built up a poultry farm in Kampala. By any standards compared to Southern Africa, it's still small. We do 30,000 broiler bird capacity, but I'm glad to say we are number one or number two supplier to one of the largest processors in Uganda. And we employ over 12 staff on a permanent basis. We've set up a couple of systems as a way initially to mitigate the risks of being away from home and sending money home. As an accountant, I leveraged that knowledge to set up numerous systems which have helped me control the business, but also be in touch with information that helps to grow the business. Fortunately for me, I had trained as an SME consultant and the World Bank project in 2003 through the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda. So I really loved to connect with the SME life, and I leveraged some of those skills to, build upwards for our business. And the key issues for me from a diaspora perspective over the years have been, how do you translate your vision when you're miles away from home? Luckily for me, I've been in the African diaspora, so flights are between 2 to 4 hours from whichever this location I've been. Not forgetting the overlays, but the actual flights are not that long. So I've been able to go back home often, every year. But getting the vision that you have from abroad, where you've been exposed immensely, and translated to people back home that are working with you, has been tough. So over time, I've been able to buy a ticket or so every other year and bring 1 or 2 people to different places where I've seen, the business better, for them to have a practical feel and take that back home, compared to hammering the vision from an abstract point of view. Then there's the element of trust. How do you trust people to account for all the money that you sweat for on a day-to-day basis? So that accountability element, managing growth, and doing all these from a distance. So that has been tough on me. But once you have the passion, you keep going. Of course, you don't simply keep sinking into a bottomless pit. You have to manage growth. You have to manage finances prudently. You books audited. You leverage that financial information to inform your growth areas, among other things. But you also talk to others in the diaspora and back home who've done what you're seeking to do, so that you do not simply run your own wild goose chase. So today we've exceeded, even despite COVID last year, we exceeded sales of over 300,000 US dollars. We are now in this phase again. We've leveraged a couple of facilities during this COVID relief regime from the several facilities, including the USA ID. We've talked to MasterCard, we've talked to Oxfam. We participated in the Tony Elumelu program at its inception, and all that was really to meet like-minded people, but also to seek for funding to business pivot. So at the moment, we did a growth strategy to diversify from one customer, from one product to a couple of products, a route to the market, because we do the production. So we'd like to do the farm to fork model. It won't come without challenges, but we know that we are positioned for that growth. And lastly, let me talk about our partnership with FAO. So last year we participated in the inaugural FAO Uganda Agribusiness Diaspora Awards, where we came second runner-up. And through that partnership, we've taken on a short-term project with the country office and working with the team in Italy to develop the Uganda Agribusiness Network, Diaspora Agribusiness Network. Currently, we have ring-fenced about 100 potential members, and we are busy onboarding them. And the opportunity for us here is multi-pronged. One is to create a voice, a common voice for those in the diaspora that are seeking, already invested in agribusiness back home, but seeking to even grow, share challenges, leverage opportunities, leverage knowledge, create an information portal, because people struggle from the diaspora to find a consolidated point where you can access information as a diasporan on the Ugandan agribusiness opportunities. And hopefully by end of next year, we will have solidified a network that can arguably talk to government to address critical areas of support to the diaspora to invest even more, because the diaspora in Uganda repatriates billions of shillings every year, but a very little chunk goes to agribusiness. So that's what we're trying to do, kind of help people to invest back home. I'll stop here, and should there be any questions, I'll be happy to take them on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all the panelists on this very important panel number 2 on diaspora entrepreneurs as transnational stakeholders in African development. And I think all of your journeys have shown, based on your educational background, your travel experiences, the time, passion and resources you have put in to make your projects a reality. And I think that serves as great inspiration for everyone tuned in.